Sound of an old radio crackling, a faint, eerie tune playing underneath. Voiceover starts, calm but with an undercurrent of unease. Okay, so I desperately needed a job, like, will do literally anything desperate. Which is how I ended up as a night watchman at an old abandoned radio station. Kinda creepy, sure, but mostly just boring. All I had to do was sit in the main broadcast booth, watch the dust motes dance in my flashlight beam, and wait for dawn. At least that's what I thought. The first few hours were exactly that. Just me, a bad novel, and the sound of the wind rattling the windows. Then, at exactly 3:33 a.m., the static on the main console crackled to life. A voice smooth and deep whispered through the speakers. Just 2 words, "Hello, Asha." My blood ran cold. How did it know my name? I grabbed my phone to call my boss, to call anyone, but there was no signal. The voice came again, "I'm coming." That was it, I bolted. I didn't even grab my coat. I sprinted for the front door, the only way in or out, but the heavy chain was locked tight. Not from the outside, from the inside. Panic started clawing at my throat. My phone, dead with no signal, suddenly buzzed. It was a voicemail from my own number. My heart was pounding as I listened to a message from me. A panicked, breathless version of me was whispering, "Don't go to the south hallway. He's there, whatever you do, don't let him find you." I froze. What was this, a prank? Before I could even process it, I heard a sound from down that exact hallway. Heavy, deliberate footsteps. I flattened myself against the wall of the broadcast booth, my breath catching in my throat. And then I saw him. A tall, shadowy figure of a man just walked through a solid door as if it was made of smoke. He didn't even open it. He just phased right through. I scrambled backwards, knocking over a box of old broadcast tapes. One of them spilled out. It was labeled in what looked like my own handwriting. It just said, "Listen." Shaking, I threaded it into the old reel-to-reel player. The voice that came out was mine, but it was terrified. It described the man, the locked door, the voice on the radio. It was describing everything that was happening to me right now. But then it went further. It described the man finding her. It described her death. The tape ended with my own scream. That's when I saw them, scratched into the desk, written on the walls, tucked into books, dozens, maybe hundreds of notes. All in my handwriting. He comes at 3:33. The door is a lie. You've done this before. I wasn't the first Asha to be here tonight. I had died here over and over and over again, each time the loop reset, leaving just enough of a warning for the next me. I was leaving messages for a ghost, and the ghost was me. Just as this horrifying realization crashed over me, the door to the broadcast booth creaked open. Standing there was me, another version of me. She looked tired, her eyes holding a terrifying sadness. "You have to stop running," she said, her voice hoarse. "Every time you run, you try to hide. You try to fight. It never works, it just resets." She pointed a trembling finger at the glowing console. "The only way to break the loop is to stop running from the broadcast. You have to listen to it, all of it." The man's footsteps were getting closer, echoing down the hall. My other self just nodded, a sad smile on her face, and then she faded away like a bad reception. My heart was a drum against my ribs. Run or listen. Every instinct screamed to run, to hide, to survive. But I'd already done that 100 times, so I sat down. I turned up the volume on the console, the static hissing. The footsteps stopped right outside the door. And then the voice came again, no longer a whisper, but a full, resonant broadcast. It told a story. A sad story of a broadcaster who died on air, waiting for a lost love who never came. His voice trapped in the airwaves, forever calling out in the dark. It wasn't a monster, it was just lonely. As I listened, the first rays of dawn pierced through the dusty windows. The heavy chain on the front door fell to the floor with a loud clang. The loop was broken. I walked out into the morning light, never looking back. But as I walked away, I heard it, faintly from the old abandoned station, the crackle of static, and a deep voice whispering a new name.